everybody. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler.
Hey, how come I didn't get a bye week and go home? We still got to work.
Yeah, well, you're paid per week, you know, so you got to show up every week.
Talk to Mike Davis.
You don't get
that.
any bye weeks, you know.
Well, let's get back to work then, I guess.
All right, let's do it then.
That NFC North though looks a little.
Yeah, looks like it's tightening up a little bit. The Vikings beat the Lions. Lions are kind of fading a little bit. The Bears lost. So, you know, I mean, where do you see it?
See, the thing about the NFC North is very interesting. If Jay Cutler has to miss a game because of the concussion, but to me, if you're the Packers, you don't necessarily have to have the number 1 or number 2 seeds. I picked them to be 10-6. They're run on schedule to be 11-5, 10-6. But if you wanted anything to happen in your bye week, this was perfect because you want to bury Detroit, and you could do that this week. With that being said, Tom, if you're Detroit Lions, and we're going to talk about this in X and O's about Calvin Johnson having a great year, and so is Matthew Stafford, yardage-wise. But your defense is awful. If you want to go to the playoffs, like you did last year, you got to play better defense. I just don't know if they can fix it right now.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't write off the Vikings. I mean, Adrian Peterson's getting stronger and stronger every week, and if they can get the quarterback to just play, you know, manage games, then their defense is good enough to hang in there.
Yeah, and we're going to show a couple times the defense weren't good enough. But I will say this. Adrian Peterson, if the fans understand, his knee injury was so horrific, he should be just coming back.
Yeah.
So to not miss any time, and they held it at one time. Detroit held him, Tom, in check for like 12, 13 carries. He was fine. They bust off that 61-yarder, then another 29-yarder. Next thing you know, he wore him down. Will Mike McCarthy, he's done it in the past, the last 3 weeks, will he stick to the running game to set up play action?
Right.
That's the patience you're going to have to show.
Well, let's talk about coming off a bye week. Players got a lot of rest. I mean, they were gone from Monday through Sunday. Came back, practiced yesterday. They're off today. They'll come back to practice tomorrow. What's the key in getting them back to, you know, the urgency of playing a football game?
Keeping your conditioning is number 1. You get back, you go to your old barbershop, you get your hair cut, you see some of your old friends, you see your family, you go to a couple of recitals with your kids, you don't lose focus on the big picture, and you watch football. You stay consumed in it. You stay conditioned. When you get back, understand your role. Your role may change, as did T.J. Lang. When he left, he didn't know how bad Balaga was. Now you're the starting right tackle. Not so much a significant. If it was left tackle, I can understand that. T.J. Lang is very valuable. When he signed that contract extension, people are asking why. Here's why Ted Thompson did that. He may be up against it moving forward with Eric Walden. We'll talk about that next week. But what I'm saying is when you come back from a bye week, your coach may give you a different game plan, Tom, to say, we have a different role for you for us to get to the Super Bowl. You have to buy into that.
Okay. Yeah, the coaches over this past week have been doing a self-scout, and so they've looked over the whole first half of the season and tried to figure out what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are, and
how much do they think is a fluke. And I think they probably think 30% of that is all fluky stuff. Just kind of happens, just kind of dumb luck. 70% of it we can correct. But you still got the same players. And also know when you self-scout, Tom, other teams also scout you.
Right.
So they're looking forward to that.
You know, you mentioned T.J. Lang going to right tackle, and, you know, I don't think that's as big an issue as having to bring Evan Dietrich Smith into the left guard position. I think Lang can come in and handle that spot. He's a terrific player, and he'll handle it. The next man up is Evan Dietrich Smith in the left guard position. And this is going to be an interesting game for him. This is, you know, he's going to be going up against Ndamukong Suh the entire game. And last time he saw Ndamukong Suh, he was getting, well, it wasn't the last time, but we all know that he was getting stomped on back then. So, you know, what do you think his mindset is going into a game like this?
Well, I think Evan Dietrich Smith to understand that he's playing a prominent role at that left guard, because that's the, if you would like to run the ball, you run to the away from him. He has to cut that backside. If he can't make that block, you can't run the ball. So he's going to have to have a prominent role. Otherwise, you're going to see the pressure coming up the middle. Now, but memory serves me that Evan Dietrich Smith is the backup center. He's played center. He's played both guards. I would venture to say that Josh Sitton, maybe in April or May of some years, probably played right tackle as well. What I'm saying, all these guys are interchangeable.
Right.
That's why McCarthy doesn't like it, but he doesn't panic when he has to put guys in these different spots. This offensive line has to say, you know what, we're one injury away from it being just horrific. Well, we're there now. They can't sustain any more injuries moving forward. That's dangerous right now going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and the offensive line, that's true. You know, but they've cross-trained guys to play different positions, and they've also relied on rookies, and they continually do it, and they find some way to do it.
Well, Rodgers has to get the ball out quicker and on time, and he can't hold on to it. And Rodgers has to go back to when he uses his feet, but also slide. Remember, he's got a concussion up there a couple of times.
Yeah, and if anything, he should have learned a lesson from Jay Cutler, who did not get down.
Well, I don't know if I want to sleep at night knowing that he learned anything from Jay Cutler, but one he should.
That was one lesson to be learned for sure. No question, the number one target the Packers have this week is Calvin Johnson. This guy is just phenomenal, and he had a phenomenal game against the Vikings. Are you okay with him catching, 12 balls for 200 some yards as long as you win? I mean, the Vikings, they gave up a ton of yards to him, but they did enough to win the game.
Tom, when you play the Chicago Bulls, they had 23. It didn't matter. He was going to get 38 and 8. LeBron James, the best player in the world, is going to get 25, 8, and 9 every week. Calvin Johnson's going to get 15 targets, and he may catch 12 balls. You want to win the game. Titus Young can't beat you. The tight end, Pettigrew, can't beat you. Anybody else on that team can't beat you. LaShore can't beat you. The quarterback, Matthew Stafford, he can put up numbers. But at the end of the day, it's all about keeping them out of the end zone. So I'm okay with that for most part. You can't stop a guy. You can't commit 3 guys to him. We showed a play. We was watching tape earlier. He caught a pass between 4 guys. And any quarterback would not even try that throw. But Matthew Stafford did that. And I think for the most part, you're going to see Tramon Williams following. Tramon has a 40-inch vertical. But you're talking about guys 6'6", and they can run a 4.3. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, and then, they're going to have to put Morgan Burnett over the top of him.
No question.
All the time, because there's no – would you jam him at the line, or would you stay off him and let him, run his route?
I would impede his process. So I would make an attempt to jam him, because their offense, as is the Packers' offense, Tom, rhythm. If you throw off the rhythm, you have an opportunity to also, throw off, because trust me, now look at Matthew Stafford. He throws a lot of interceptions because he believes in his arm. But if Matthews doesn't play, he will get time because there's no prominent pass rush. Desmond Moses is going to have to step up. And not only that, Eric Walden, I'm predicting, should get 2 or 3 sacks on this offensive line. But they also, what you pointed out was very astute, they put in a bigger guy as a tight end, so they're going to have time to throw the football.
Yeah, and we'll show that on X's and O's. It's they're giving Matthew Stafford time, and they're not worried if Calvin Johnson has 3 guys on him.
No, he's going to get the football. And I don't blame him.
Exactly. And so join us for X's and O's right after
I want to thank Syndics Ballester, owned and operated, being my sponsor. Also, you can see me and get a cookbook today at Syndics in Franklin from 3 to 5, and again in Greenfield, the Syndics in Greenfield from 6:30 to 8:30. Also want to thank the Salvation Army doing the most good. You see those people ringing those bells, take your time, drop some money in there. It helps a lot of families. Also, W.J. Kuhn in Oak Creek for being the one place I can take my car and they take care of it, especially for a good price. I'm pretty cheap. So, and you can follow me on Twitter at Leap36 and on Facebook as well at Leap36 as well. Bye.